Hello, everybody. Suzanne Kellner-Zinck with Dawning Visions Hypnosis to talk about why it is that some people find it so hard to get the mental health care that they need. Because this seems to be a really huge problem. All I hear about is all these problems that people are having, feeling depressed, feeling anxiety-ridden, for a lot of really good reasons. A lot of people are losing their jobs at this moment. It costs a lot to live these days with interest rates ever higher, inflation going through the roof, and it's just hard for people to live, which may be one of the reasons. But there's other reasons as well. I think oftentimes we believe that we can just get through, do it on our own. It's weak if we need to get help. I know a lot of the folks in the medical field feel that they have to be really strong and perfect, and getting care for their mental health is seen as a weakness for some of them. But they also have legitimate issues regarding their records getting out to the licensing boards, which can, in some cases, end up with them losing their licenses to practice, which is totally idiotic in my opinion, because we want our people, especially those who are helping us, especially if we've gone through a really bad situation, like a really bad accident, some other kind of trauma, to be able to get help with the trauma that they see in their daily work life. Another reason is because of the stigma involved, which goes back to the medical professionals, but there's a lot of people in the world, well, let's just say the general world, who don't want the stigma of having a mental health label attached to them. And this can be a real concern. I know that for some of my clients and even myself many, many moons ago, you can go talk to a doctor about having a physiological problem. In my case, it was perimenopausal stuff that was all hormonal, and they were not paying any attention to that because of my records with psychiatric problems previously. That is a problem in and of itself. Hormones help people with perimenopause, antidepressants do not. Let's be very clear about this. Next, I think a lot of people are concerned that if they get help that they'll be put on some kind of medication, and all too often this is the case. And it's not that psychologists can prescribe medications, but in a lot of these university hospital systems, they're basically told to make referrals to psychiatrists to get medications dispensed to these particular patients. And in many cases, I can tell you from my hypnosis practice, they are totally unnecessary. They become toxic over years of taking them. Your body sees them as a toxin. And I actually experienced some problems many, many moons ago when my kidneys started to slow down because they could not detoxify the toxins in my body because of taking lithium for, I don't know, it was 15 years or so at that time. Luckily, I had a really great psychiatrist. She had me do the creatinine levels, which is a urine test, saw that they were slowing down and discontinued them immediately. And then a few weeks later, I was scheduled to go to Todd James and his wife's Advanced Personal Evolution program when I got rid of all of the symptoms that had to do with the manic depression in the first place. And I haven't had an issue with it since. That was back Valentine's Day 2004. So over 20 years ago, and it's still holding. And I know because in the day, I was only really depressed and didn't do anything, or really high and being really stupid, right? There was no modicum of a neutral emotion. That didn't exist for all those years. So these things can be taken care of, and they can be done very healthfully without any toxic medications. I prefer my clients not have any medication because I need them to be able to think clearly. I need them to be able to feel their emotions. Many of my clients have their defense mechanisms up so high that they don't want to feel their feelings, but I need them to feel their feelings or they won't be able to make really good friendships with people, because that's how we empathize with others, right? Having gone through similar things that we've gone through ourselves. So these are some of the reasons, and this is one of the solutions that I have for you, because I don't work inside the medical system as such, as an independent practitioner. And I do it all online, and I don't even live in the United States anymore. I live in Albania in Eastern Europe, which I love. Family is everything here, and I was very lucky to be adopted by a very beautiful family here, and they take really good care of me. So, big blessings. And that's another thing, when you learn how to do hypnosis and self hypnosis, you can take care of so many things. I find really great places to live with really cool people. And right here around the Ionian seaside here in Gollum, Albania, so I can walk up and down the seaside as long as it's not too hot out. Thankfully, the weather is really beautiful now, so I can go do that on a daily basis and have a really well-rounded life, because that's what we all need. We need a well-rounded life. No longer having the negative thoughts, the negative feelings, our inner child trying to protect us as best as it knows how to do, causing problems for issues that actually took place very early in our lives. They no longer need to run you. So in the post below, you can find out how you can schedule an appointment with me or buy me a copy so I can continue making these videos for y'all, which I really do enjoy doing because I want people to be educated about what their mind can do. And you don't have to be ill for the rest of your life. You don't have to be labeled. I'm not even allowed to label anybody, okay? I'm not licensed. So that's against the rules. What I like to tell my clients is my job is to take your label away by getting rid of all the symptoms. So in physical health, once you don't have any symptoms, they call you cured. Well, we're not allowed to use that word either because I'm not licensed. I don't care. I like the word healed. We want to be healed of all these issues, right? So we can move on in life. So anyway, you can find all the information in the information below to connect with me so we can talk about whether or not you're a good match for me, and I'm a good match for you, because I'm not for everybody, let me tell you. I hold people accountable. I want them to be healed and move on, and it works for about 95% of my clients. And that's over about 25 years now, so not a bad record if I say so myself. Anyway, have yourself a wonderful life, and thank you as always for your time. Until next time, bye-bye.